Hello everyone, and welcome back to further coverage of Grand Prix Sao Paulo for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 2 match between Mikkjal and Ash. Mikkjal is on a blue-white control, kind of a straightforward, simple control list, but I think that as a result, it actually has a lot of game because of the redundancy in its pieces and its ability to avoid some of the non-basic hate, and it's essentially just being a very straightforward control deck makes it so that it doesn't get caught out by lots of the more niche options, and it can play, and it also doesn't have that kind of mental, the same degree of mental strain that comes when you're playing a very reactive complex. On the other side of the table, we have another kind of controlling deck, Ash on Casino Scam. So Casino Scam is a deck that has been around for a while, but has only been played by a few players here and there. It's essentially a Grixis combo control deck where you essentially play a controlling game until you hit two pieces, buying time and all or nothing. Buying time lets you take an extra turn and you can't lose the game during that turn. It's 2 blue and a black at instance. And then you have all or nothing, which lets you essentially ad naz. So you essentially just do ad naz combo, and then you can win from there, because we have a 2-mana sorcery that gives you a lab man effect. So you essentially use that alongside a cantrip, and you win on your extra. So far we've had Ash play Seek Prophecy, one of our good cantrips in the format. Digging 3 deep is pretty potent, and it looks like it gets a Prying Inquiry off of it, which is, I think that's one of Black's strengths in these control matchups, the ability to just be like, yeah, I can just get under you with hand attack, and if you counter this, then yeah, I don't care, because that's what I want you to do. I think Ash keeping a hand with double Exit in this matchup is a little sus, though. I think Exit is probably one of the first cuts out the side. And Mikkjal, I think, the setting sun is obviously a little sus here, but then you have 2 pieces of very good counter magic for the early game, and then as soon as you reach 5, Seto-san is pretty much one of the best win cons in the format for blue-white. You essentially, you +1 or twice, and then her -5 deals exactly lethal with just her own creatures, assuming you attack in time. Okay, so Mikkjal's just going to reconsider to counter the Prying and not giving up any hand information, and also preventing Ash from creating the clue token off of them. Next turn, though, Ash will be able to play out this top-decked Duress. Or wait, is Ash on? No, Ash is not on the play. Oh, did Mikkjal miss a land drop, or am I missing something? No, never mind. Yeah, okay, now gets the 3rd land drop, and that allows Mikkjal to have Redo up, and has a redundancy for the Seto-san. So really, I think it comes down to Ash. If you're Ash, you probably just Duress, grab Redo, and then you're going to try and combo out underneath the Seto-san, especially since Mikkjal needs to draw 2 more lands for the Seto-sans. And yep, does grab the Redo there. Makes sense. It's basically Mikkjal's only playable card there until they top deck. And doesn't hit a land, but Opt will help them get there. On end, Ash is just going to run out the Consult the Dewdrops, going to play a cantrip of their own. I think the issue now for Ash is, yeah, they're kind of shit out of luck in terms of not having any more playable spells. They need to dig for either more interaction to buy themselves time, or one of their combo pieces. Consult the Dewdrops also works, so it lets you dig even deeper. It looks like the other things were 2 lands and a Fair Trial. And yeah, Fair Trial unfortunately misses Seto-san. So yeah, I think getting the Consulted Dewdrops was the best draw. Okay, Last Passage. How many copies of Last Passage does Ash have? Heck, let's check it out. Okay, they have 2, so they have backup. I was going to say that, I would actually think that playing the Last Passage here is not a bad play, since you have 2 copies, and you can just play it here to essentially dig 3 deep, especially since you have the mana and nothing else to do with it. I guess the thought is you can Consult the Dewdrops into another Consult the Dewdrops, or Consult the Dewdrops, but you don't have any other instant speed interaction that matters. So yeah, I think, and you've already used Consult the Dewdrops, so the chances that you'll hit another are low. So yeah, I think just running out the Last Passage might have been good there. Okay, Mikkjal with the Event Horizon. Again, you really don't want to see the removal here, but does manage to hit the 4th land. 1 more land, and we'll be able to drop the Seto-san and make Ash's life a lot shorter. On end, Ash going to run out another Consult the Dewdrops. Yeah, I think another reason to run out last passes last turn is that you can't. Yeah, this is the thing. So you have buy time here, right? Um, but if you have to get all or nothing, like you can't dig for all or nothing this turn and then still buy time because Ash only has 5 mana. So if Ash had played the last passage last turn, would have been able to still dig for the all or nothing. And playing the buy time now, I think, is key, yeah. Because you could, it's basically just a draw one that could. Okay, so yeah, now it's going to run out the last passage for the digging. Okay, not running out the omens on. I think that this is a mistake because if they run into hand attack here, they won't be able to play it. So, and the only instant speed stuff that they have that's relevant, Crystal Wave, and 2 more copies of Consult the Dewdrops. So I really think that they should have cracked the omens on their turn. Okay, Mikkjal going to play out a Consult the Dewdrops of their own. I think. And you'll notice it has different art. That's because of different printing. This is the original printing, and the one that Ash is playing is actually a reprint from our masters. But I think the thing is it weird to say that I almost think you don't want to play Consult the Dewdrops here? Or no, I think you want to do it just to grab a counterspell if possible. But I think the thing is, like, you can't grab a land with this, so it puts you in kind of an awkward position. But it looks like Mikkjal wasn't going to draw a land anyways. Had the 3rd Sedosan on top, along with an Event Horizon and another Reconsider. So I think in hindsight, looks like the Consulted Dewdrops is a better play. Getting a bunch of useless cards off the top and drawing Mikkjal into relevant counter magic. The problem is, of course, if now that Ash has access to 6 mana, we'll be able to cast the buy time. So it's cracking these, still just drawing into irrelevant interaction. Going to drop that. And then draws into it. Still has not hit the ever important all or nothing. Gets a 2nd copy of buy time. It plays the Shock Fetch tapped. I'm assuming because they don't plan to run out the buy time. Yeah, like playing out the buy time when you don't have the dig. Mikkjal also still not drawing that 5th land, has Reconsider plus Consult up. The 2nd last passage from Ash, and this one you can't play because you actually need it to win. And I don't think that Ash has any ability to recur cards. Like, no, yeah, they don't. I mean, okay, actually they have Dead Man's Party. So, wait, does that make it worth it to last pass? Because then you last passage, and then if you hit all or nothing, you buy time, take an extra, and then on that extra, you have enough mana to play all or nothing and also play the Dead Man's Party. Actually, yeah, okay. The more I think about it, because of Dead Man's Party, Ash could have actually played the last passage. And for those of you who are wondering, Caillou, what is Dead Man's Party? So Dead Man's Party is blue and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may choose a color, then exile 2 cards of that color from your graveyard. If you do, return a creature, instant, or sorcery card of that color from your graveyard to the hand. So basically, you would just exile Seek Prophecy and your other last passage to get back your last passage. Especially since I believe Mikkjal doesn't have any. Yeah, Mikkjal has no Grave Hate Mage. So that is a valid. I think I get why Ash kept it here, but then I think the awareness of the Dead Man's Party would have meant that last passage is actually a viable choice. And yeah, I missed Mikkjal on end running out the Consulted Dewdrops. I think got themselves into. Did they get the Children of the Clouds with that, or they got the Children of the Clouds, bottoming a Plains, another Consulted Dewdrops, and a Pool of Light. So missing that 5th land. So can't really run out of WinCon. But they do now have this Unraveling to counter this. And Ash, once again, running out these last passages like 1 turn too late. And I think the problem is if they'd run it out last turn, they have no way of knowing this. Oh, I was going to say, Mikkjal would have no way of countering it. Now Mikkjal has the Unraveling. But Mikkjal is just saving it. And once again, Ash not cracking the Omens on their own turn. I think that this is, again, a big mistake. Because you want to run out the Omens now to try and hit hand attack. And, get information and force... Mikkjal's hand. Unlike clues, you aren't investing anything into them, and this Fair Trial is a dead card anyways. So, and Mikkjal finally hitting that 5th land, but are they willing to tap out at this point in the game? Is the question. Of course, once they hit 6 lands for Children of the Clouds, they won't have to, but that's still asking for 1 more land. I think without the hand information that we have from, or maybe even with the hand information we have from Ash, I think. Mikkjal shouldn't play Sedosan here, and should just wait for a 6th land and continue to hold up 2 pieces of very powerful counter magic. Redo will counter a buy time here if Ash chooses to run it out on end, and Unraveling will counter basically because it's unconditioned, just counter it. But Mikkjal is fetching with the Ocean Monastery. this could be hold up Unraveling plus redo mana, or it could be I'm going to Windmill Slam Seto because I've been impatient to run around. Oh, Mikkjal saying, well, let's try. Seto-san going to come down now. And then I think if you're Ash, this is your opening. You've got to like run out the Omens on end, hope to hit an all or nothing. No. Yeah, okay, I guess doing them in response is fine, because if you hit a crystal... Actually, yeah, doing them in response is better, because if you don't hit if you hit like a Crystal Wave instead, that's fine. Prying Inquiry, and this is why you should have... this is one reason to run it out on your turn. Ash considering, do I want to give up? Okay, yeah. Giving up the Prying Inquiry. Oh my god, triple buy time. All the time in the world, but no other resources. I think that, okay, I'm going to be real here. I think now on end, just run out the buy time. You have 3 copies. You're going to be taking a bunch of extra turns. Just run it. And you won't get a chance like this where Mikkjal is tapped out. Like, I think 1 is way too risky. 2 is a little iffy. When you have 3, that's a lot of leeway. So, but Ash passes. Just turns them. I guess the thought is you can still just get another draw first, but mana efficiency. Okay, Duress, and then I think, yeah, you just take the Unraveling for sure. It's the only relevant piece of interaction that Mikkjal has. So yeah, grabs the Unraveling, and I just run it. You just run the buy times here. I guess now that the Unraveling is out of Mikkjal's hand, you know that you can force a buy time through a redo. But I think letting Mikkjal untap with the redo and potentially putting you in compromising mana positions, just no. Maybe I'm playing wrong, but I really think that playing out the buy times while Mikkjal is tapped out, I think a way to go, because you lose either way. The thought, in the sense of, if you let Mikkjal just untap with counter magic and a Seto-san on board, like, you're putting yourself in a rough position. Okay, Mikkjal plussing Seto-san. This means that next turn, Ash is dead. And I think the problem is, because Ash tapped for the Duress, if Ash tries to buy time on end now, like, oh yeah, they can't buy time on end, because then it'll just get redoed. So they have to wait until their own turn to... No, but they're trying it now. You know they have the redo. Why are you doing this now? Yeah, this is just a punt from Ash. And yeah, Mikkjal's just gonna run out the redo. And oh my god, Ash just getting so flooded this game. And I think you got to do it now. You can't let... No, what do you... I guess the thought is to do it in response, because you can prevent yourself from losing the game that way, but... Oh, and I guess that the idea is that you can actually... Using it as a quote-unquote fog to force Mikkjal to pop the Seto-san does make sense. So yeah, Mikkjal's just going to pop Seto-san, pump everything up into 5/5s. This is 20, so this is 20 life-linking damage on the board. Okay, Mikkjal swings. In response, the buy time. Yep. Mikkjal's going to try and find a counter spell for this, because obviously if Mikkjal counters this... Mikkjal doesn't know that Ash has the third buy time. So in Mikkjal's mind, if he can find a counter spell, he just wins on the spot. Mikkjal just going to chain opts here, I guess. Second opt coming down. Okay, bottoms a land and draws into another. Okay, so the first buy time is going to resolve. So Ash is officially at negative life, and Mikkjal is up to 39, and yet Ash is potentially in a good position to win. If they can chain another buy time, and then if they find any sort of a way to dig for an all, because they're like in the second half of their deck. I think they have 4 copies of All or Nothing. They should hit one like right here. Of course, they could all be in the bottom 10. Magic variation is like that, but they have 2 turns to play with. In another land, this is some very tragic. No, why are you going to end? Oh, okay, I guess they're going to their actual turn. Okay, consult the dewdrops here. And this better hit an All or Nothing. Okay, he's going to buy time. You definitely want to consult now. Okay, he's going to flood a depths just to thin out their deck a little bit more, which I guess makes sense to a degree, especially with how flooded they've been this game. So consult coming down. Now, do they hit the All or Nothing? No, they hit a Seek. Oh no. I guess they do have another turn after this, so the Seek Prophecy is fine. And wow, their other cards were just more Seek Prophecy, Crystal Wave, and there's the All or Nothing. So you snap take that. I think the problem is that you can't win now, because you untap All or Nothing, you draw your deck, your only way of recurring a last passage, or wait, no, does Is there one there? Is there? Oh no, there's one more. Oh yeah, okay. So you have one more buy time in deck. So you all or nothing, play and okay, and Ash has exactly enough mana for this. So they play all or nothing, draw their deck, play their last buy time, play Dead Man's Party, and then win. Jeez, what a game. Okay, Ash running out the Dead Man's Party, and the buy time. Yeah, okay. So they found the right line. That is GG. Or at least it's GG. We know it's GG because Mikkjal. We know that Mikkjal doesn't have another piece of counter magic, and of course, I think Ash probably suspects that because Mikkjal would have run it out long ago. Oh wait, no, the Event Horizon. No, wait. Oh my God, Mikkjal does win. Hold on, yeah, the Event Horizon removes the Dead Man's Party. I completely forgot about that. Oh my God, yeah, and with that, I don't think Ash has no win cons left. Yeah, and that's it. Oh my God, what an ending! I completely discounted the Event Horizon because I'm like, Ash doesn't have any relevant permanents in this matchup. But then yeah, the Dead Man's Party was the one relevant permanent that they needed to actually win. Oh man, what a game! It came down to and I guess that's another reason to try to chain the buy times on the turn where Mikkjal is tapped out, so you don't get tagged by an Event Horizon. Oh, and that was known information. Yeah, that was just because Ash used the hand attack earlier, so knew that Mikkjal had the Event Horizon. So yeah, they just didn't have any outs there, or I guess the out was having the mana to play a piece of hand attack. But they only had, they only had 10 mana that turn. So it was essentially, it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment where if they try to play the buy time, Mikkjal just kills the Dead Man's Party in response. If they if they play the Dead Man's Party first, Mikkjal always will Event Horizon it. They need to start with hand attack. So, but yeah. What a crazy game, especially after the somewhat spaghetti opening. But let's look at sideboarding over here. On Ash's side, I think you probably bring in more Dead Man's Party. So the first thing is you take out all the Exins, you take out the Last Passages. Those are just, not the Last Passages. Oh, Jesus, what am I talking about? You take out the Fair Trial. So that's 7 cards out. You probably bring in Seal the Tombs, Thought Blossoms, Dead Man's Party, and then Arrest? I don't know what other cards what cards could exist that would make the rest worth it, but that's a possibility. But you bring in more Dead Man's Party to prevent a situation like what just happened, essentially. Thought Blossom is very, very good versus Control because it's a counterspell which draws you their counterspell, so you can essentially double, you can go up on interaction because of Thought Blossom. And Seal the Tomb is just really good versus Control, and it's especially good when paired with the 8 pieces of hand attack in main, so you can just shred opposing Control players. Especially since Mikkjal has only two real win cons in Seto-san and Children of the Clouds. They don't even have a Monument of Queens, so if you can Seal the Tomb both Seto-san and Children of the Clouds, I think Mikkjal just loses to themselves because they don't have any actual win con otherwise. So for Mikkjal, out of the side, you probably bring in Still the Pandemonium, and then Soulgate, and then you take out... Cursory Glance is not as relevant here, so you probably take that out. Maybe take out the... you think you take out some of the Reconsiders can come out for Stills. Because you know that Garth is the only creature that Ash has, and they're not likely to bring that in. So, yeah. Reconsider, Cursory Glance out, in Still the Pandemonium, Soulgate. That's my read on sideboarding from Mikkjal. And potentially maybe swapping you'd swap 2 of the Event Horizons for Imperial Claims. Probably, just because it's more mana efficient, and it doesn't rely on you having another permanent. So yeah, those are my reads on sideboarding. Let's check out if Game 2 started. And it has! So it looks like Ash starts off with one of the combo pieces in hand, this time the opposite one, All or Nothing. Also has access to turn 2 Prying Inquiry and then Consulted Dewdrops. Mikkjal, it seems, kept in the reconsiders, has a stacked hand here, 4 pieces of counter magic. It's going to be a miracle if Ash can get through all this counter magic. But I guess one thing is that you do get access to the ability to just run. Like, Ash has like 5 lands in hand. You can't get to the point where you can run out. Just like you can run out the reconsiders, so you can just take redos, and then if you get like another piece of hand attack, just keep taking redos until Mikkjal just doesn't have anything left. I think taking the Seto-san here is also an interesting option, but I think it's not worth it because like by the time Seto-san's killing you, you should be setting up to win the game, and in order to do that, you need to remove Mikkjal's interaction. So, and Seto-san forcing Mikkjal to tap out is actually a good thing for you. Because if Mikkjal ever taps out, you're like, oh, okay, cool, my turn to win. So it looks like Ash agreed, takes the redo. And I think one thing is, I think the right choice for Ash here is not to play the Consulted Dewdrops, because the Consulted Dewdrops is you don't know that Mikkjal has Unraveling, but I think you just crack the clue instead. No, because the thing is, Mikkjal can counter this with Reconsider or Redo, but if you wait until your next turn, neither of those work. Because you have 4 mana, and then you can either pay for the 2 of Reconsider, or since Consulted Dewdrops is 1 blue, you will also have 1 blue for read. So, I think that playing Consult versus just cracking the clue here is opening yourself up to letting Mikkjal's interaction actually tag you. It doesn't end up mattering, however, because Mikkjal just lets it resolve, and is just going to snap grab a Prying Inquiry. I imagine that means there must have been quite a few lands there. And it looks like Consulted Dewdrops and then 2 lands, yeah. And yeah, okay, you want to just Prying Inquiry, grab the redo, and oh, that's buy time plus all or nothing. So yeah, now you just want to shred Mikkjal's hand. Probably now that you see the Unraveling, you just Prying Inquiry, grab the Unraveling. Or Mikkjal will just run out the Unraveling right here anyways. Actually, I think running out you just counter this with Unraveling to prevent Ash from getting another clue token. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, and a third redo. Mikkjal's just power tripping on these on this counter magic. The problem is though, Mikkjal has all the counter magic in the world, but doesn't exactly have the lands. So if Mikkjal gets greedy like last game and taps out for Seto-san, Ash just wins on the spot because they just end step, buy time, and then all or nothing. And I mean, last game drawing lands was a liability. Now it's not so bad because you can actually you actually have access to like out taxing Mikkjal. Okay, on end Mikkjal's just gonna cycle to Reconsider. One thing I think is Ash should not be playing these fetches tapped, and the reason is it signals that Ash doesn't have Crystal Wave if like Mikkjal's being on top of things, because I think if Ash had Crystal Wave, they would play this untapped, so they would have the 2 to pay for Reconsider potentially. It's a minor thing. And I think also like the life doesn't matter in this matchup. Like you're playing versus control. Seto-san is basically, if Seto-san's killing you, they're killing you from 20. If Children of the Clouds can kill you from less than 20, but if they resolve a Children of the Clouds and you aren't comboing off already, they probably were in a secure enough position that you're going to lose this game. And yeesh. Okay, like, Ash is just kind of really, the deck is like, no, I believe in you. You really can just out-tax the redos. And the thing is, it's not that far off. 2 more lands and they get there. Okay, you're going to cycle to Reconsider. Has a Seto-san. I think the thing is, it is just so much safer to just hold up. Just hold up your, and they have an opt now. So I think Mikkjal is just going to hold up, you just hold up, on, especially because Unraveling is a counterspell which also scries and draws. So you just hold up Unraveling plus opt. You can just put yourself in a position where you just keep drawing land. And then once you get to around 7 mana, Seto-san plus hold up redo. Of course, this assumes that Ash doesn't hit 8 lands. As soon as they hit 8 lands, the plan switches. Wait until I get to 8 lands myself, and then Seto-san plus hold up Unraveling. Oh, Mikkjal's really thinking, though. Mikkjal really wants to windmill on Seto-san. If they do it, though, they lose on the spot. So this is a pivotal decision. Oh, and they're doing it! They're running out the Seto-san! And if Ash plays this right, they just buy time on end, untap all or nothing last passage, they just straight win. Even in response, Ash is gonna buy time, and okay, if yeah, I think Mikkjal just knows this game is over now. The but you wait until you see Ash if Ash plays the All or Nothing. Huh, and Ash kept in the fair trial. Weird. Yeah, I think keeping in the fair trial, unless I'm missing something, feels like because the only thing you hit with it are 1/1 tokens created from Children of the Clouds or Seto-san. But in any case, that's not going to matter here because we're just going to All or Nothing. So yep, draws their entire deck, plays the last passage, and that's game. Whew. And yeah, it just came down to Mikkjal had all of the cards. They just needed to play patient and hold up their interaction. And now we're going to a game 3. That is a 1-land hand. It does have a Duress and a Seek Prophecy, but and it has both combo pieces. Oh, this is so tempting if you're Ash, you're so tempted to just keep this. Wayfarer Shrine for an island, turn 1 Seek Prophecy, and then hope to hit a black source. And then turn 2 you get to Duress or Prying Inquiry or Thought Blossom or any number of things. I don't know if this is a trap. I would keep here. I think that this is... No, okay. I think the Seek Prophecy makes that eminently keepable. And now you're in another 1-land situation where you have both of your combo pieces. But this one's far worse because you have 0 playable cards. Okay, finally, this is a keepable 5. I think you bottom... Yeah, you probably bottom Seek Prophecy. Oh, actually, it bottoms the buy time and a land. Okay, those are reasonable. You just go turn 1 Seek Prophecy, turn 2 Prying Inquiry. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to see what this game would have played out like if Ash had kept that initial hand. On Mikkjal's end, Mikkjal's hand just seems to have a magnetic attraction to Redo and Seto-san. Starts out with those. So this is, I think, again, Mikkjal's game plan and Mikkjal's hand is just literally the same as the previous 2 games. So this is going to be like a very similar thing in terms of game plan. Ignition Ritual, Prying Inquiry, Deathless Siege. I mean, okay, the Deathless Siege seems weird. I guess the thought is you can stymie off their win cons if they don't have an Imperial claim. The Ignition Ritual, I guess, is there to kill Children of the Clouds tokens. The Ignition Ritual makes a little bit of sense to me. The Deathless Siege, I don't know if I'd bring it in before Seal the Tombs and stuff. Okay, he's going to grab the second Prying Inquiry. And the next turn can force Mikkjal to start wasting these redos. And Mikkjal is 1 land in hand away from having the full 5 cohort for Seto-san. So he's going to play the Pool of Light, keep himself redo ready. And god, the third Prying Inquiry top deck from Ash is actually insane here. So yeah, Mikkjal is just going to counter this one, probably counter the next one, and then is just going to eat the third one on turn 4. And next turn, Ash has a mana-efficient play of Prying Inquiry and then Seek Prophecy to try and hit some other stuff. Yep, here comes Prying Inquiry number 2. In response, you want to opt in a response? I guess you're planning on redoing this anyways, but I guess the thought is if you opt into a Reconsider, you would much prefer to run out the Reconsider here. That actually makes sense, now that I think about it. Okay, Mikkjal draws the Nereba off the top. I guess the thought is that's the 5th land for Seto-san, and then just runs out the redo to counter the Prying Inquiry. And then main 2, Ash going to run out the Seek Prophecy. I think ideally you want to hit a land here so you can go Prying Inquiry, consult the Dewdrops next turn. Seek Prophecy, buy time, Duress. Oh, interesting. Takes the buy time, Snap takes it, but doesn't have the lands to... I actually think that taking buy time there is a little sus. I might have taken Seek Prophecy, just another one. But I guess the thought is like you don't want to bottom an important combo piece. And I guess the thought is you also have consulted Dewdrops to try and dig for All or Nothing, but still needs a 4th land in either of those cases. Okay, Mikkjal looks like did keep the Cursory Glances. So we'll be able to counter this 3rd Prying Inquiry. Okay, ooh, Crystal Wave, that unfortunately is unplayable. So Ash is down to 2 playable cards in hand. And they can only run out one of them this turn because they only have 3 mana. Meanwhile, next turn, Mikkjal untaps and they can freely Seto-san. Though I guess the thought is you're scared because Ash picked up a buy time off the Seek Prophecy, but they don't have... Oh, I was about to say they don't have a 4th land, but Ash just grabbing one here. So now I think the fear factor of game 2 might keep Mikkjal from playing the Seto-san here, but I think that would be the wrong thought because you can't actually stop the buy time, so you just have to... Like, your only play is to play Seto-san. Okay, Prying Inquiry coming down, and yeah, again, you just cursory glance this. Triple Prying Inquiry running into triple Counterspell. It's kind of the best case scenario on both ends. Okay, yeah, that's another land. So if you're Mikkjal, you just... I don't think that there's any point in bluffing counter magic. you've gotta play to win, and I think playing to win here is just Seto Sunning, and then just hoping they don't have it, basically. Also, wait, I just realized that last turn Ash had the option to take a Magmatic Torrent off the Seek Prophecy, but chose the Murmuring Falls instead, which feels like a huge punt to me because now they don't have red mana for either Crystal Wave or a potential all or nothing that they draw. So that feels like a huge punt to me. Anyways, Mikkjal does tap out for the Seto-san, and the clock is at 3. So if you're Ash, your only play here is Consulted Dewdrops. But then the problem with Consulted Dewdrops is that you don't have a red source even if you get all or nothing. So, So this is looking kind of dire, and it all came down to not taking the Magmatic Torrent off the Seek Prophecy. Okay, so Mikkjal just swings for 2, makes 2 more tokens with Seto-san. Ash is dead next turn. Their only out here is Consulted Dewdrops into all or nothing, and then top decking, there it is. Oh, but they don't have the red land. They need to top deck a red land now. That's their only option. Oh my god. And they did it. There's a Wayfarer Shrine. Do they have mountains in their deck? And no, don't say GG. I think the thing is, if Mikkjal hadn't said GG, Ash might have waited to play the buy time until Mikkjal's turn, which would give Mikkjal an extra draw step. But because Mikkjal didn't, it looks like Ash might just win right here. Ash almost made a big mistake there and almost did not fetch before playing buy time. And if they'd done that, they wouldn't have been able to actually get the mountain. Okay, so yeah, now you just all or nothing. And it looks like Mikkjal did concede too early. If they hadn't said GG in chat, Ash probably would have waited to play the buy time, and then you could have countered it with the unraveling. So yeah, after a tense 3-game set, Ash takes it 2-1 over Mikkjal. Congratulations to them, and I think that both these decks have terrifyingly fast kills backed up by interaction, so they still have ample opportunities for the rest of the. But yeah, until the next round 2 match, this is Caillou signing off.